We've got Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank, and he's sharing his opinion on the AI boom.
According to the Wall Street Journal, the AI boom is looking more and more fragile.
How can a boom look fragile? A boom, like the rapid onslaught and demand of AI is fragile. Doesn't that just sound horrible?
What sort of deliverables do they need to meet to prove all of the AI doubters wrong?
The deliverable is value. It's not like this piece of tech or this. It's, can you use this wrench well? If you can, that wrench is going to be worth a lot. If you can't, it can be the most high-powered thing in the world. If it has no use case, it's useless.
There's a lot of talk about AI. There's a lot of promise about replacing workforce and all this efficiency. We haven't seen that come to life. And I asked that because one of the big AI guys,
definitely have seen that come to life. Lots of people are getting replaced with AI.
Said that in 3 months, 20% of the workforce is going to be laid off. And that was like 6 months, maybe a year ago now.
But, Katie, it's happening. Look at the recent Amazon layoffs, and I think you're going to see much more of that.
For being on the news, she doesn't really watch the news, does she?
It's going to be hard to correlate direct revenue to AI because it's going to be efficiency at the first step. Where are we going to see the biggest impact? Look what happened yesterday with the Anthropic cyber attack. So a Chinese group was able to manipulate, I'm going to use the word Anthropic, using agentic AI to do a cyber attack.
So instead of a bunch of hackers trying to get into a system, so they had AI do it.
It was basically a couple of guys. And the thing with AI is it doesn't think. It doesn't know good. It doesn't know bad.
It doesn't think yet.
They were telling it they were doing a good attack to test the perimeter defense.
It has no morality.
It has no morality, and we don't want it to have any morality. So, I started a cyber company 20 years ago, as you said. It was called.
That point could be taken really poorly if you don't play in this game. When he says no morality, what he's probably speaking to is he doesn't want AI to have an opinion on good or bad. Do you want AI to assign you as good or you as bad? Probably not. He's, again, more practitioner. He's like, I want my AI to be a non-thinking person. I want it to be able to think as well as a person to do the tasks that I need, probably. But that thinking isn't opining. That thinking isn't rendering a judgment. That thinking is a goal-directed outcome utilizing X, Y, and Z parameters, which it seems really small, but these are the things that could kill everyone, right? If you give AI the ability to think and feel and then give it access to weapon silos, what do you expect to happen?
I used to say we work in the age of the internet time. And then COVID happened. I was like, it's COVID time. Now, with agentic AI, things are moving so quickly that I don't think we're prepared for it yet.
If we're not prepared for it yet, what's going to happen? We see the stock market that's, teetering a little.
I don't know that we've ever been prepared for any rapid technological advancement in human history. I feel like it's a lot less about preparing and more about how do you handle what you're not prepared for, right? Nobody was prepared when, we invented machines that could do tons of metal and mining and replaced all the coal workers, right? Some of them just lost, which is a really horrible part of human nature, that we're just in the jungle a lot more than people realize, right? But there's also a lot more that evolved, right? Or not a lot more, I should say, but there are some that evolved and grew into the market. And just like this, we're in a rapidly more technical world, which means at the tippity top, the barrier to entry to understand technical things is now much higher. It's nice because we are surrounded by advanced tech that you get to benefit from and enjoy. But the problem is you don't understand it. You could understand a typewriter, even if you didn't put it all together. Oh, I'm hitting this and it's hitting that. There was an intuition to it. Now you've got AI where you couldn't even point out an AI computer if you saw one. It would just look like big industrial machinery. And you'd be like, I don't know, it's probably like a laser cutter. It's like, sure, may as well be.
A little bit. There's concerns about it. What if the stock market bursts? That's one question. And then secondly,
what if it's burst like the 1,000 other times it's burst? Again, these are news opinions. These are not real opinions.
AI does deliver on all of these promises. How are we as a society better off? Especially if there's layoffs and people can't get into the workforce.
Well, is the goal work or is the goal to be a fulfilled person in life? Again, this is part of the brainwashing that happens. Is the goal to go to work? Is the goal employment? Or is the goal a happy, productive, fulfilling life? And if AI and the advancement that we make there under controlled environment enable more people to have that, it's a great future. Now, mind you, you have to temper it and you have to do it right and make sure AI doesn't kill us all, yada, yada. But there's a real heaven out there. It doesn't just have to go to hell. It may be 1% chance we get there, but like it's actually out there.
Well, it's a two-edged sword. I'm a huge believer in AI, partly because I see it as the next industrial revolution.
I'm a huge skeptic of it. So tell me why I shouldn't be so nervous.
If you and I were sitting here,
She's skeptic of the internet. Was she skeptical about software products? Was she skeptical about eBay and marketplaces? Like this is there's the early adopters and late adopters, and there's doubters the whole way, right? And AI has definitely been in a unique spot. We've had the full wave market boom, very comparable to how everything blew up with blockchain and crypto. When I was in Miami, good Lord, it was a nuclear bomb of boom as far as it goes. And then you start going through the cycle where people start realizing, hey, maybe this isn't the end all be all, even if it is really cool tech. Maybe there's overinflated expectations that lead to just this crazy bubble and boom. Then, of course, you get this trough of disillusionment where everybody goes, AI's junk. What can it do for me? It can't even think that well. I asked ChatGPT what 2 + 2 is. It says carrot. It's like, yeah, it's wrong for now. And that for now is critical. Remember, cars require humans to drive for now. There's a silent for now attached to a lot of sentences that if you're in the space, you sometimes hear it. And if you're not in the space, you never hear it, but it is absolutely there most of the time. Because if there's a way to innovate on something or optimize something, do you think the tech heads, myself included, aren't going to take a bite of it? We're in the market is getting smaller and there's more and more eyes on it, trying to solve every problem that we can to make the world better and make money and everything in between.
in the 1900s, we would be talking about blue-collar factory workers under horrible conditions, making no money, being replaced by automation, right? Today, we're talking about AI that's going to free a lot of people in order to do high-value tasks. Now, if you're a white-collar worker today and you're doing middle-level management, I got news for you. You're in trouble.
If you're low to mid-level, you're pretty much cooked. It's something I was actually talking about with a family member who's in the software development space. He does a lot of work with data. And I'm like, it's a scary thing, but the reason you still have your job is because someone like me or like teams that I work with haven't replaced it yet. But it's coming. And I say yet, right? Because why would I want to pay a sea of juniors $100,000 a year when I could build one computer or borrow one, data analyst from Google for a couple $100 a month or whatever they charge as an agentic AI, and bam, now I'm good to go 24/7. If you're not at the top of your field, you're going to really struggle, I find, because anything that's process oriented, that's repeatable, anything that can follow a list of specific rules, no matter how complex the rule set is. I don't care if your decision tree in your head has 1,000 things in it. If there's rules and you can write them down, an AI will likely be able to follow them pretty well.
So what will you do in the future?
You have to upskill. And I think that's the responsibility of a lot of enterprises and government to give that education to people.
But look at the world we're living in right now. We have, you could argue that all the politics that we're experiencing, the anger that's out there, is in part due to globalization, NAFTA, this this outsourcing of unskilled labor overseas, the factory workers, left a whole generation or a whole demographic of people jobless and angry and feeling like they're not contributing to society or not valued any longer. If we do that,
when I hear this, I just think like, well, why don't you just go contribute? If the way that you think you contribute is by going and working a mid-level job for a boss who's an asshole with a CEO that doesn't even care about who you are, I don't know that you are contributing. I wouldn't be satisfied with that contributing. And mind you, I don't think everybody has to be an entrepreneur. I think if you enjoy employment and you want to just be in the machine, I love it. Be a good cog, right? Cogs are super necessary. But if you want to be a leader, or you want to own your own thing, or you want to just be a little influencer like Gary Vaynerchuk's always talking about, right? Sell mugs on the internet for 200 grand, be your own boss, whatever. But this idea that the government has a unilateral responsibility for making sure you feel good. It's not that they shouldn't care, right? I'm a pretty simple guy as far as all this goes. I think you should have UBI, because I don't want employment to be a constraint on innovation. I want security and safety and humanity to be a constraint on innovation. I don't want us to scream into AI 8.0 and then 9.0 kills us. I want to inch by inch by inch get to it appropriately. And then in the meantime, as it gets better, notice you're able to stagger out society a bit more. But now you're free from this constraint of, well, now I'm going to treat my money and my tech as actually different. My people get X amount of money, which provides X, Y, and Z sustainable life, which of course is more efficient now that we have more tech. And on the other side, because we've slowed the pace of tech, and I'm not saying grind it to a halt, I'm just saying don't redline the engine, right? Literally, and Earth is our engine, let's say. You redline it, then yeah, it's going to blow up. And there's no engine swapping Earth. It's over.
Again, aren't we just setting ourselves up for another revolution in our politics, where there is a whole new class of very angry people feeling like they're left behind?
If politics is your constraint, you should change the politics, not change the technology. Like, again, politicians they have no idea what AI even is. It may as well be magic. I put a little magic in the computer and then it can do this thing it didn't do before. Like, that's easier to explain to most of these people. And you want to constrain things by them? Like, give me a break. How many times do they have to show you in every single way that they're not on your side for you to finally start being on your own side?
Shift creates victims, and every major shift creates opportunities.
Ta-da.
And I think what I would say to people is, you have to take a responsibility to be on the right side of that. It's not that there isn't opportunity. I think that the anger is people feel there is an opportunity for them, that the American dream isn't alive for them. And I think part of that is the gap between great wealth and most people is just widening. But I will tell you,
we also say wealth, which I think is interesting. It's not wealth, it's lifestyle. Is that fair? If you had no money in your account at all, $0, but everywhere you went, you could afford a good version. Like, let's say you couldn't stay at the penthouse of any hotel, but you could always get a comfortable suite, right? Like a good one, right? And I'm not saying you can't have varying degrees of quality in life and we're all going to live in a monotone world. But this idea that it has to be one way, I just find that, like, your concern is value. Am I getting a life that I enjoy that fulfills me? Not am I in the 1% tax bracket? Because you could have $10 billion in the bank. If you're just sitting there staring at your Chase account or your AllianceBernstein, whatever, notice your lifestyle is not better. You can still be homeless. It's about the environment around you. Do I live in a home? Am I in a community? Do I have friends? Do I have things I can work towards? Do I have a way that gives me a reason to get up in the morning? If you start there, well, money doesn't even come into the equation. Money is just a means to an end to afford the food and the shelter and go to drinks with friends or whatever. Okay, then. So now we're not solving for money. We're solving for value. We're solving for the human spirit. I'd rather solve for that, to be honest.
AI has the ability. You can start a business today using AI, and you have access to computing power, to things you couldn't do in the past. So if you know how to use it, this is an amazing.
If you are willing to learn how to use it and willing to apply it in your own creative way. A lot of people just want well, give me the 1, 2, 3 steps to doing this. And it's like, it's one of the things I tell a lot of mentees that I have. The best answers are, it depends. So it's like, okay, I know how to use this tool. Well, now how I should use it? Well, I guess it depends. What situation am I encountering? What's the most efficient way to apply it? How could I do it to make them money? How could I do it to make me money? How do I add value with my skill, not just monetize it? And there's a difference between adding value and monetizing. Ideally, you monetize still because you want the money, but value comes first.
Amazing opportunity. You know, it's like Mark Cuban said, if I was a Gen Z today, I would be doing one thing with my life: living, breathing, and sleeping AI.
What would you have your kids study in school?
That's a great question. My son has a hard time writing.
Yeah.
So I go to school and the teachers tell me how important it is. And I have to tell you, I'm sitting there going, he's never going to write. Why are we having this meeting?
This is where a lot of tech heads I find kind of get it wrong, because so many of these core skills have nothing to do with your English degree. I mean, if your son's studying English, that you can do a whole thing, right? But it's about the skill itself, right? And here's the example. If I had a machine that could print computers, right? I could just hit a button and it printed a computer. That's great, right? Now that we've invented this machine, same analogy here, right? My son's never going to have to build a computer. I can just hit print. It's like, what if that machine breaks? What if you want to innovate on that machine? What if that's the worst way to build a computer? And now we're stuck with it. By missing skills and the skills to do, like, it doesn't mean that he has to go out there and refine the silicon to create computer chips. But if you don't understand a GPU and a CPU and how things work together, how are you going to play in this space? Well, I don't care how well his son in this example could use the machine to print computers. I don't care if he was the best computer printer on the planet. What if, or when you want to innovate? Now he's just one more fancier, higher cost cog in a different machine. You're not actually innovating. You're not learning. You're not leading. You're just doing a more complex task, right? You've just moved up in the hierarchy. You haven't actually like changed the world you live in. It's still go to work, do this, input this. Like, skills really matter. Skills are what are applied to then change the world. Everything you see, everything you've touched, all this stuff I'm looking at in my room right now, they didn't exist before. Someone had to have the skill and refinement and ideation and creativity and foresight and durability and just everything to turn nothing into something. And if all you know how to do is use someone else's something, you're going to be weaker than you could be. You're going to be half the person that you could be. You're going to be less capable. And that's not what I want in my world. I want a world of capable people, productive people, people that care about themselves, their community, their family. You don't have to care about every person in the world, but my God, look after yourself and what's best there, right? Or maybe not.
I would have him learn two things. One is anything to do with computers, coding, math, that kind of stuff. But more importantly, creativity. The ability to think outside the box, I think, will always have a premium.
I would teach, as I listen to him, it's hard. It's not like a major, but the skill is analysis. Like, the skill is critical thought, because if I have a son and a daughter and whatever, it's like they have different personalities, different interests, different temperaments, different skill sets. It's like, okay, I don't care what you do. I care that you do something that you're proud of and that builds you and that ideally contributes to the world or the community you live in, large or small. And so for that, it's like, well, tech's going to keep changing. Tech's going to keep building. This isn't slowing down. So it's not like studying advanced AI is the last frontier of technology. You could go into biomedical pharma, and yeah, it's going to use AI as a part of it. But again, that's just a wrench becoming more standardized in that way. But if you can think and you can critically reason and you can analyze, that means that no matter what environment you're in, you can perform. So if AI is something that is taking your job, again, let's just pretend I'm talking to my son, I would say, where do you think, and let's imagine they're college level, so they're, old enough to have a real chat with, where do you think technology is going in the next 5 to 10 years? And they go, oh, well, AI is doing this and we're probably going to lose that and do this. And I'm like, okay, where do you fit in that? And it's like, if they're studying a career right now, like they're like, I want to study engineering, and they readily admit that 3 years from now, most engineering jobs are going to go away. That's an analysis question of, okay, do you think that this is the right path? Do you think that this is logical? Is this what you want? Because what I don't want to see for anybody, but especially my kids in this example, is them walk into a mistake that was so easy to see. Mistakes happen, you study the wrong thing, the market shifts, whatever. But if you think that the only thing you can do is study technology to succeed in the future, you're likely mistaken about all the possibilities of what the future holds. The question is, what are you best equipped and attuned and interested in adding value in a way that's sustainable now and in the future? I don't assume we're going to live the same day for the next 1,000 years. The world's going to evolve. And I want, again, my children or children's children to evolve with it and find their place in it, not just force themselves into the hot spot because that's the hot spot. It's like, well, it's the hot spot for now. What if we were having this conversation 20 years ago? We'd be like, all in on SaaS. It's like, yeah, it's good to know, but it's not the end all be all of life, is it?
So being a creative person that can create things that the computer cannot.
Yes.
I get.
Creative. Again, creative to me means you're creative in your space. If you're really good as a developer, you not only can execute, but you have ideas and inspiration and the ability to take something in a new direction. That's creativity. Same applies to business, finance, applies to art, obviously. If you're just copycatting someone else's art, would you say you're creative? Okay, so then clearly just doing art doesn't mean you're creative. Clearly creativity is an action, right? It's the act of creating something new, looking at something from a different perspective, trying to bring your own flavor or a new flavor to the party.
Yes.
But you can envision, I mean, computers are going to get creative too, but I think if you have the ability to see things others don't and stay slightly ahead of the market, I mean, I think the market's we're going to have some problems with some of the stocks for a short while. But
the stocks aren't the market. That's a little fun fact. As somebody who used to work in investment banking and sat on the equities desk as far as like taking companies public and stuff, it's a data point, right? The market is what you see in the world. It's the collective. The public company stock market is a small representation of a bunch of highly focused, very significant, but not everything, players in the market that also have 1,000. We've got wars and political conflict and lying and stealing and cheating. Can you imagine the horror show that is the stock market, like behind the scenes of every single one of the companies that's listed on there? How many movies do you have to see where this is true for you to go, I wonder if that's true in our world? It's like, yeah, it is. So the market's a good thing. It's a data point. It's helpful. But do you think because Oracle dropped 6% that we're not going to innovate more in AI? Do you think that we're shutting down ChatGPT? Like, it might hurt your portfolio for a couple days or a couple weeks, but if you're someone that has a portfolio, I think you're going to be all right. And I also think that it clearly isn't all. There's clearly so much more that contributes to a market versus just 10 people that are upset because one number went down 8%. And I know we want to make it that simple, but it's not that simple. What I would say is, what is the market as a whole? Where's money going? Where's volume going? Where's attention going in the media? What technologies are companies currently utilizing more and more? There's a very silent wave of blockchain and crypto technologies that's being utilized everywhere. You want to know why? Because the hype's over. We're done being excited, at least a little bit, for all of the fancies of everything that blockchain can provide. And now we're just going, oh yeah, that's the wrench I need. It's like, that's what it's always been. Just use it and move on.
there'll be massive opportunities.
I asked ChatGPT to write a paragraph in the style of my two books, and the paragraph that it came up with scared me because it made me laugh.
Really good.
It was actually pretty funny.
Was it better than
I don't
you?
know if it was better than me,
great.
but I mean, if you're not a discerning consumer, I don't know. I mean, I think we got to be discerning consumers, and that's scary.
Nobody is a discerning consumer. How many headlines do you catch yourself believing off the top of your head, just in the back of your mind? You don't say them to anybody, but you read a headline, you're like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, where's the discernment? Where's even the fragment of a question? Like, I wonder if that's true, or I wonder if that's a lie, or I wonder where the source is. Doesn't mean you assume immediately, but everyone's an uninformed consumer generally. We are all not as smart as we think we are, unfortunately.
Because if you're replacing, we're out of time, creative thought with just AI slop, it's going to leave all of us.
If you're replacing creative thought with AI slop, what if the inverse is true? What if I'm removing creative slop for actually high quality AI output? Everyone assumes AI is going to be worse. I think they're afraid of the possibility, which is less a possibility and more a reality, that it's going to be better. And that's going to challenge you. And that's going to take us and ask us the question, how are we going to compete in the free market where technology is at our level now? I like it because that means we're going to be pushed to get better. I do not want to circle the drain. I want to reach for the heavens. Seems like a more interesting day.
It's kind of, I think, in a worse place. But I got to go.
But you think every day we see people on Shark Tank trying to live their American dream.
Yeah.
You can start a business out of your basement. You can use AI and do functions you couldn't do in the past.
I know, but I want to write a book. Robert Herjavec, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Really good to have you. What a treat.
Honestly, very, very good. I was expecting, what up, Donnie? I was expecting a lot more. When I see a lot of these big investor people, a lot of their takes are, they're like too general, too non-operator. Like it's almost like they've forgotten what it's like to run a business. Instead, they just like overlord over a business. And honestly, his stuff was super practical. And I found myself, I mean, clearly you saw we agreed a bunch. So I'm very excited to see where AI goes. I'm excited to keep building using AI in my companies and others. And let's see where this boom takes us.